In the original script, there were so many storylines. The fact that the world was dying, Teani had to keep Cordeia hidden, there hadn't been children in a long time, the assurance was the religion of the people, and then there was the gods, and the fallen god, and the council, Garoon, the preacher, feelings of the townspeople about Cordeia and her mission. I mean, there was so much going on. And the storyline that mattered most, Cordeia saving the world, just got buried in all this. So we decided to de-emphasize everything we could. We scrapped all references to the absence of children. We minimized the roles of the council, Garoon, the preacher. Now it's tough because some of these things were actually kind of good and might have made good movies on their own, maybe even better movies. But they had to be sacrificed so that we could focus on the story that we were actually telling. The hardest thing for me to sacrifice in this whole process of getting rid of the old version, going to the new version, was Teani's voiceover. The actress that played Teani, Eva Jane, has such a smoky, gripping voice, and she's such a great actress. Her narration was easily the best part of the original version of the film, in my opinion.
Now we make offering upon offering, but there is no new life among our people. Many assumed they would never see another child, but they were wrong. Our people do not have much, so we tend to hold on to that which is most precious to us.
But we wanted the audience to connect to Cordeia more. In the original version, this big quest and the fight were something kind of chosen for Cordeia, something she was essentially pushed into. That made the ending a lot less powerful. So we made Cordeia the protagonist and focused on her struggle of getting ready for this huge journey and experience. Act 1 is Cordeia's recounting of what is happening. Our theme is stated by Cordeia in the first line of the film. It's so hard to believe. The rest of the film is about Cordeia's physical journey, but even more about Cordeia's emotional journey to believe. Cordeia being abandoned by Teani was the inciting incident, the act that set this whole story in motion. Cordeia states that she can't figure out why she was left, and that's her objective. She needs to figure out why she was left behind by Teani. In Act 2, we see Cordeia mentored by Teani and see Cordeia growing emotionally and then literally, actually making progress as she continues on her journey. We learn about the religion and the prophecies that the people believe will save them. We also learn of the disease destroying the people and its source, this demon god that we only get a hint of. Cordeia talks about the sickness and says that she was exposed. At about the midpoint, the point of no return we mentioned earlier, this is when Teani shows Cordeia her powers. Even though this is a flashback, Cordeia is processing this now in the context of being left behind. Then things take a turn with Cordeia as she reveals that Teani's mission was to get Cordeia ready to save the world. It's then revealed that Teani kept Cordeia hidden, but she was accidentally discovered by the town. This was the exposure Cordeia alluded to earlier that caused our heroes to flee into the wilderness. As Cordeia enters more and more treacherous territory in her journey, she flashes back to more and more treacherous flashbacks as we revisit the abandonment of Cordeia by Teani. We meekly hear Cordeia commit to this journey, but we see how far she's come since then as she summits this cliffside. This begins Act 3. She raises her arm because that's what the assurance looks like that she's drawn so many times. She then realizes her power. But her celebration is ended quickly by the emergence of the demon from the ground. This is the final test of her confidence. She's been incredibly confident to get to this point, but will she fight against this huge beast or run away? Of course she fights because Teani taught her well. Now, when we rewrote this script, we'd already shot the film. So in the next movie, we'll look at how we recycled shots to tell a completely different story.